Hello my people, Ruben Obed here, transmitting live from GB Music Group. I'm doing this live because I was watching online something kind of interesting, and I would like to talk about it, which is all over the internet and in news, we're seeing that there's a thing about Trump. Supposedly he wants to cut the food stamp program, the SNAP program, and basically to give people instead a box of USDA food, which they, and this would cut the spending on the SNAP program, okay? I agree with most of the things that Trump says. This is not one of them. But I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna explain the situation. All right. First of all, people on food stamps, they don't get much money. That's the truth. I remember when I was in the U.S., I used to be a caseworker, and a single parent in the state of New Jersey, or a single person that was poor, they would receive food stamps, and they'd receive approximately $130 a month. Now, as a caseworker, I am not blind to the fact that a lot of these people, many of them, would take those food stamps and sell it and buy drugs with that money. Okay, I'm well aware of that. I'm well aware of the fact that here in Puerto Rico recently, I'm talking not even a week ago, they did a drug bust. And the drug dealers that found, that they busted, they had over 50 EBT cards in their possession that they, basically they would change it for the addicts. So I'm aware of that. I'm in favor of a proposed law that I heard that people should get drug tests to qualify for food stamps. I agree with that. Because I don't think that the taxpayers should have to pay for anybody's drug habit. Absolutely not. Now, at the same time, I live in Puerto Rico. I see poverty, extreme poverty. I see people who are very poor, who don't receive Social Security, older people, who have no income, who have no spouse. And all they get is that little food stamp check. Elderly people that can't work, that have conditions, and I know many of them too, who need that money, who need those food stamps, And to them, this issue is something devastating, and I can understand perfectly, It's sad that because of the abusers, the people who really need it are going to get the short end of the stick, okay? So now, this affects, this affects not only the people, but it also affects small businesses that generate income from the SNAP program. So, if you take a small store and you eliminate the people that go there and buy with food stamps, they're taking a big cut, and the employees that work in that store are also gonna get a cut in hours. You know what I'm saying? Because this is all economics. So now the issue is this. I understand that the government is supposed to cut spending. Absolutely, I'm all for that. I am in total agreement that people should work, for what they need and for their food. Absolutely, that's how it should be. As Ronald Reagan said, the best social program is a job. That being said, though, that only functions in an idealistic world, idealistic situation. Now, the truth of the matter is this: we have a lot of poverty, and these people that are drug addicts And the ones who are not drug addicts, they both depend on that money, you know? So the ones that are drug addicts, if you remove the SNAP program from that, you're not removing their drug addiction. They're going to go out there and they're going to steal and they're going to rob from the store, you know? That's going to happen. That is the consequence with that. On the other side of the spectrum, if you take away food stamps, but then the same people who are, they're all for taking away food stamps are the same people who own businesses, and then they hire people and they pay them a measly amount per hour. So what happens there? It creates a situation whereas the person that is working doesn't make enough because of greed from both angles of the spectrum, you know? It's like you don't want the person to go on food stamps, but at the same time you don't want to pay them a decent wage. And I'm not saying that people should go out with no education and no preparation and you're a McDonald's employee and you're expecting $15, $20 an hour. Hell no. I mean, this is ridiculous. Now, what I think though is that we should offer an incentive. Right now, you take a food stamp away from somebody, it does not guarantee them a job, you know? It does not. But the government and the state government and the federal government, they need manpower for many, many things. So why don't we allow the people who get food stamps to earn those food stamps? Not give it to them. Let them earn it. You want food stamps? Perfectly. You get $130. So you know what? You have to give back to the community $130 worth of work. You could work at a museum. You could work 1 week and clean up. And you keep your food stamps. And the government benefits. Why? Because they have manpower, which will reduce costs because they don't have to hire new people to do work because the people getting food stamps. Because the problem is you can't just take the food stamps and not offer the person an option. You know what I'm saying? Right now, let's say in the White House, you know, you got one person on food stamps. Okay, that person in the week, they got to come and they got to clean and pick up the trash, you know, and clean up. All right, $130, that's about a part-time job. Okay, put that person to work. You know, make them do something. Make them earn the food stamps. You know what I'm saying? Instead of taking it away, you know, because the truth is that you can't just take something away and leave the person empty-handed, because you're gonna create a even bigger problem. You know, the Bible says clearly, if you don't work, you don't eat. That's what the Word of God says. You know, so if you look at it biblically, you know, God's telling you to go to work. All right, but what can the person do if there is no work? You know, so if there is no work, I think the government can become creative, you know, and I think that the government can say, well, you know what? You're going to get $200 in food stamps? That's fine. Then do $200 worth of work. Oh, you don't want to work you want to work for the $200? Okay, then we take your food stamps. You see, I think it's humane to give the option. Because if I were a person that I was on food stamps and my food stamps are going to be taken away and the government says, well, Ruben, you know what? You want your $200? Well, you have to, you know, volunteer and work community service, you know, at the museum, at a hospital, you know, help out. You know, just whatever that amount of money is, if you make $200. And obviously there would be exceptions, like, you know, elderly people, you know what I'm saying? Don't take their food stamps away. Because you take an elderly person, you take their food stamps away, and then you give them a box of stuff that they cannot eat because of dietary situations. It's sad. You know what I'm saying? So my proposal is this to Trump. Trump, don't cut the people's, you know, food stamps. Just put them to work. If the White House lawn needs to get cut, Get those people, the food stamps recipients, get them to work. If the government is short-handed in manpower, put them to work, and it's not for free. They're earning their food stamps, and I think that everybody would be happy with that. I think it sounds fair and it sounds just. This is just a proposal, and I hope that this gets there. And like I said, I support Trump 100%, and I can see both sides of the spectrum, because I'm a conservative, I'm a Republican, but at the same time, I grew up in the ghetto. I'm poor myself, Thank God I haven't had the need to get food stamps, but I have had I did grow up with food stamps. I grew up in the ghetto. I know what it is. I see poverty every day around me. But there's some people that need it. There's some people that need it, and some people that take advantage. Look, here in Puerto Rico, I know of people that they take their food stamps and they go and they cash it in at a store illegally, and then they take the money to pay for the electric bill or to pay for their water bill, and those people, they're doing this because they are in need. Because they're basically, like as we say in Spanish, de vestir un santo para vestir otro. It says you undress one saint to dress the other. And a lot of these people aren't addicts. They don't use drugs. They're not out there in the street, but they're struggling. So, I think that it is unfair to take the food stamps away, but I think that people should be given the opportunity to earn those food stamps. It's like you don't wanna get the food stamps taken away. Okay, you gotta earn it. You get 130 in food stamps. Okay, just go do some community service there at at an old folks home, and you'll earn $130. You know what I'm saying? And you bring that voucher to the food stamp place, and yep, he worked his week. He gets his food stamps. You know what I'm saying? I think that sounds fair. I think that sounds humane. I think that sounds just. So, guys, let me know. Let me know what your opinion is of what I'm saying, and leave your comments down below. Peace, Ruben Obed. Let's make America great again. Peace.